like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Na Diorpop. Today, we're not here to chase rumors. We're not here to build theories out of thin air. And we're not here to exaggerate what doesn't need exaggeration. Today, we're simply going to listen. Because sometimes, the truth doesn't arrive loudly. Sometimes, it doesn't come wrapped in dramatic confessions or public declarations. Sometimes, it appears quietly, hidden inside a single word, spoken softly, naturally, as if it has always belonged there. Have you ever noticed how one word, just one seemingly simple choice of language, can suddenly open a door to something deeply intimate? A word that, when translated casually, sounds harmless, neutral, almost empty. A word that subtitles reduce into something safe, something flat, something anyone could say to anyone else. But language is never just about translation. Language carries culture. Language carries distance or closeness. And when we listen carefully, language reveals relationships that words alone cannot explain. In a matter of seconds, Jungkook said something to Jimin that most people brushed past without a second thought. It was helpful. You helped me a lot. On paper, those translations aren't wrong. Structurally, they work. Grammatically, they're acceptable. Emotionally, they say almost nothing. And that's where the real story begins. Because what we witnessed in that moment was not a flat relationship. It was not distant. It was not neutral. And it certainly wasn't empty. To understand why, we have to slow down and return to that moment with intention. No extra scenarios. No forced interpretations. Just careful listening. Because the Korean language already spoke. Very clearly. The heart of this moment lies in a single word. The word Jungkook chose to open his sentence. Dangshin. On the surface, Dangshin simply means you. But that equivalence exists only in dictionaries. Not in real life. Not in real conversations. And certainly not between two people who share space, eye contact, and quiet understanding. In everyday Korean language, Dangshin is heavy. It's rarely used. Often avoided. Between friends, co-workers, or people who are already close, Dangshin can sound cold. Even confrontational. That's why native Korean speakers tend to leave it out entirely. Korean allows sentences to exist without pronouns. Silence, in this language, is often more polite than specificity. So when Dangshin does appear, it's usually in moments of tension. Arguments. Emotional distance. Situations where someone needs to emphasize separation rather than closeness. And yet, there is one exception. One culturally recognized space where Dangshin transforms completely. Inside an intimate relationship. When spoken between lovers, long-term partners, or couples bound by deep emotional trust, Dangshin loses its harshness. It softens. It warms. In that context, Dangshin no longer means a generic you. It becomes something closer to my love, darling, the person closest to me. It only sounds natural when distance no longer exists. And this is where context becomes everything. That moment between Jungkook and Jimin was not tense. There was no argument, no raised voices, no emotional escalation. The atmosphere was calm, almost still. Jimin was focused, grounded, fully present. Jungkook's tone was gentle, measured, peaceful. There was no defensiveness in his posture, no sharpness in his delivery. Nothing, absolutely nothing, suggested confrontation. So the idea that Jungkook would casually choose a word that normally carries coldness or aggression simply does not align with what we see, hear, and feel. Dangshin did not appear by accident. In a language filled with softer alternatives, or the option to say nothing at all, Jungkook chose a word that is almost never used unless the relationship allows it. And in that moment, it didn't sound distant. It sounded intimate, gentle, almost domestic. The word didn't need emphasis. It didn't need explanation. Its weight existed quietly, resting in the space between them. This is where many translations fail. They translate vocabulary, but not relationships. They capture grammar, but lose emotional reality. And when that nuance disappears, so does the reason why that word existed there at all. True intimacy is rarely loud. It lives in subtle things. The way two people share space without intrusion, the silence that never feels awkward, and the appearance of an unusual word precisely when everything feels calm. That's why, for those who understand Korean language and culture, this moment is impossible to overlook. Dangshin here doesn't feel formal. It feels familiar, as if it belongs. And this isn't an isolated moment. This isn't the first time Jungkook and Jimin have used language that, even among native speakers, is commonly associated with established romantic relationships. Relationships marked by emotional stability, by trust that no longer needs testing, by comfort that has already settled in. The same can be seen in terms like baby or my baby. In Korean culture, these expressions are not neutral. They carry tenderness, attachment, a closeness that goes far beyond general social norms. But what's most revealing isn't just that Jungkook says them. It's how Jimin receives them. There's no surprise, no hesitation, no pulling away. His reactions are natural, effortless, like someone who has heard this language before, many times. That response confirms something important. This is not a one-off moment, not an accidental slip, not a playful exaggeration. It's a long-established dynamic. And when we place all these pieces together, the use of Dangshin, the terms of endearment, the consistent tone, and the complete absence of distance, the picture becomes whole. This isn't about proving anything. It isn't about labeling. And it isn't about convincing skeptics. It's about recognizing a pattern that already exists. Because some relationships are not announced. They are read. They reveal themselves quietly, in word choices, in comfortable silence, in moments that feel too natural to be coincidence. The Korean language is never neutral. Every word carries distance or closeness. And when a word that should sound cold instead sounds warm, when there is no rejection, no surprise, no boundary being drawn, the language itself has already said everything. Not loudly, not dramatically, but honestly. Thank you for watching Na Diorpop. If you felt something during this moment, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Until the next moment, where silence speaks once again.